Hi everyone, Derek Hooper here. I've spent a lot of time teaching. I've been doing it for many years now, and it doesn't get any easier for players when they're trying to make a swing change. If you read the magazines every week and you're looking online at videos like this one, you'll find often that people want to talk about the fact that, just move your hand this way or think in this way and you're going to be able to make a swing change. The reality is that you've worked really, really hard to get very good at the swing that you currently have. And I often talk to players about, you've practiced it so much you're actually an expert at the swing you have. The unfortunate thing is that if you're looking at this video or if you're going along to your local professional for lessons and coaching, you're there because you're not happy with what you're producing at present and you're looking to make a change. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about the process of making a change in your golf swing. I'm going to give you an example today of a change that we would work through with a player who would have some issues with a backswing, and I'm going to show you the progression that we would work through, and it's a progression that you can use for any swing change you're making. But I want you to recognize that it's not as simple as just do this and do that and all of a sudden you're ready to go out and shoot lower scores on the golf course. It takes time to learn the new pattern. It takes time to get the muscles and the body adapted to what you're trying to do so that you can then do it without any conscious thought. So let's show you that progression, and if you want to take some notes on the way through it would be great, because this is a progression you can use for any skill or any element of your game that you're trying to change. So we're talking about how to make a swing change, and the thing I want you to remember is that making a swing change doesn't get easier if you go faster. It doesn't get easier with a ball. So what we want to do first of all is we want to get you to be able to make the movement without a ball, without a target, and without speed. And then we're going to slowly add those other factors in as you become more accomplished at the skill that we're trying to change. So we're going to walk you through an example today. The example that we're going to talk about is a player who doesn't make enough rotation with their upper body during the backswing. We're going to talk about how to change that, and then show you the progressions we'd get that player to work through to accomplish that in their golf swing. Now before we got into this, I would clarify first of all that with any player that I'm working with, I would definitely give them a physical screen first. I want to make sure that they're unable to make this backswing or this bigger turn because of something technical and not something physical. So I've already screened the player. I know that they can physically do what I'm asking them to do. There's no physical restrictions at all. Then we jump into retraining the pattern. So the exercise I would start with is I need this player to understand, well, where is this larger turn in the backswing compared to what they usually do? So my go-to drill for that's going to be club across the shoulders with my arms crossed. I've got a club on the inside of my right foot. In golf posture, I'm going to watch the ball on the ground, and then all I want to do is turn so that the club I have on my shoulders goes above the club that I have on the ground. And I'd want the player to do that several times. I need them to be comfortable with that move, to make sure that they've got a good understanding of where it is. The other thing I'd be asking them to do is to try and figure out for themselves what are some checkpoints so that they know when they've reached that position. Is it a stretch in their back? Do they feel weight on their right side, on their right foot? Where is their left shoulder in relation to the golf ball so that they've got an idea of where that is? Once they can do that pretty easily, I'm then going to go to normal setup with no golf ball. And the goal is then going to be, well, can they make a backswing now and get those shoulders to the same position? So we're looking for a nice backswing here. I want my shoulders to the same position that I had with the club on my shoulders. And I'm just going to repeat that several times until I get a good feeling of where that needs to be. I'm not doing any downswing. I'm not doing any follow through. I'm focusing purely on the element that we're trying to change. Once the player can do that, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to let them swing through. So you can see how we're just adding a little element each time as we work through it. So now what I'd have the player do, I want them to go back and pause. Check to make sure they're in the right location. If they're happy with that, they can then swing through. And I'd have them do that several times. If they can do that, and I'm happy with where the upper body rotation is getting to, I'm then going to put a tee on the ground. I'd have them go back, pause again to make sure they're in the right location, and then I'd have them hit the tee. Half speed, very slow at the moment. It's all about making sure the shoulders get to that location we're looking for. If they can do that, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the tee on the ground. I'm going to put a ball on it. We're going to go top of the backswing, pause, make sure the shoulders have turned where we want them to. Then they're going to swing through and just clip the ball off the tee at about half speed. We're standing on the range, there's no target, we're not aiming at anything, there's not trying to hit the ball any particular distance. If I'm inside, we're hitting a ball into a net. I don't want it to be any results oriented other than did the shoulders get to where I want them to be. It's all about, can you make that change that we're looking to make in your golf swing? If you can do it with the pause and at half speed, then we're going to go pause and 3/4 speed. If you have success there, we're going to get rid of the pause and do it at 3/4 speed. If you can do that, then we're going to still keep the ball on the tee and we're going to go more at full speed. If you can still do that, now we start putting the ball on the ground, and you can see how we're progressing it each time to make the skill a little more challenging as you get better and better at the change that we're making. So once you can get to the point where we're standing on a range with no targets and you can make the new backswing and hit the ball off the ground with some consistency, you're still not ready to go to the golf course. At this point, we've got to create some situations on the range which are similar to those that you're going to face on the golf course. So by that I mean we've got to create some situations on the range which, number one, has measurable outcomes, and number two, has consequences for those outcomes, because they're the things that you're going to face on the golf course. So now we're going to start hitting balls at targets. So we might start with 10 balls at a particular target, and it's all about, can I make that full backswing or the full shoulder turn that we were talking about, hit the ball off the ground and get the ball to go at the target. And I want to count how many balls out of 10 can I do at that target. Once you start getting that number up pretty high on the range, you can do it with multiple clubs to multiple targets and still get that shoulder turn every time. Now you're at a point where we can start testing that skill out on the golf course and you're ready to go. But you can see that we took quite a bit of time to go through that progression, and that progression may take several weeks if I'm out with a player. This is not something that I would do in a half-hour lesson or even a 1-hour lesson. I would build it over time. I want the player to have success at what they're doing before I then make the skill more difficult. So if you take that same philosophy and employ that into any swing change you're making, you're going to have a lot more success in creating long-term permanent swing changes which can allow you to be far more successful with your golf game.